US President Joe Biden has today signed a joint pledge with Israel's Prime Minister Yair Lapid aimed at preventing Iran developing nuclear weapons. The agreement then a show of unity by the two allies previously divided over policies towards Tehran. Let's start by having a listen to them speaking just a short while ago in Jerusalem.
Today, you and I also discussed America's commitment to ensuring Iran never obtains a nuclear weapon. I continue to believe that diplomacy is the best way to achieve this outcome, and will continue to work with Israel to counter other threats from Iran throughout the region.
The only thing that will stop Iran is knowing that if they continue to develop their nuclear program, the free world will use force. The only way to stop them is to put a credible military threat on the table.
Well, covering developments for us from Jerusalem is Irris Makler. She's on the line for us right now. Irris, I suppose no big surprise then that Iran topped the agenda when those two met.
No surprises, and you could see that from the press conference and even from the questions from the journalists. It was Iran front and centre, and part of the reason for that is the fact that it's the glue that holds together the other part of this visit, which is Israel's position in this new alliance within the region, with the United Arab Emirates, with Bahrain and with Morocco, and perhaps also with Sudan, but we'll leave that to one side. So at the core of this, we now see how very much the threat from Iran is a threat to all these parties. And it's part of the reason that they are inching towards each other. And what we got an indication of from here too is how much Israel and Saudi Arabia are now doing a dance, a minuet, getting closer and closer. Not yet a deal, not yet joining this alliance, but definitely moving closer to that, and Iran is the glue, is the reason.
Strengthened ties then between Washington and Israel on this trip, Irris. Where does that then leave the relationship between the United States and the Palestinians?
Well, the US president was the only person who mentioned the Palestinians when he got off the plane and was greeted by Israeli leaders yesterday. It's plain that he has always supported. It's very important to Joe Biden to solve this conflict, not just to manage it, as some Israeli politicians would prefer. He wants a solution, and as he said, I believe to my core that the solution of this conflict will be good for Israel, good for the Palestinians, and good for the region. So if you only speak about him personally, it is still important. I think that the card in their back pocket, if you like, of the Palestinians is actually Saudi Arabia. The Arab peace deal started as the Saudi peace deal. If there is ever going to be a rapprochement between Saudi Arabia and Israel, it will only be when there is some kind of peace deal between Israel and the Palestinians. So if the Palestinians come to the table with more enthusiasm, if they change their leaders, if they solve some of their internal problems, if Israeli leaders are in one place, not 5 months out from an election, if you could see that far ahead, then you could see a difference here, and Saudi Arabia may be part of the key.
All right, we'll see what happens. For now, though, Irris Makler in Jerusalem, thank you very much.